Hello, welcome to a Has TV video, and today's another episode of Alternate Future of the World, Season 5. Last episode, we saw the United States of the Americas collapse, and we also saw Brazil collapse. We also saw the Ottoman Empire gain more land. However, let's get into it. The first thing that happens is, the Empire of Russia is released by the Ottoman Empire as a puppet state. This is because the Russian Empire started to get a bit rebellious for the Ottoman leader. And now because there's a new Emperor of Russia, they changed some stuff. So they release Poland and the Republic of Korea, it's the Korean Peninsula, the Republic of Korea is the Korean Peninsula and the Japanese islands. And now they do this just so they don't have to govern as much land. However, they are still sort of working the government of them, but they're not fully puppet states. The next thing that happens is the Dominion of Indonesia rebels away from the Ottoman Empire. And they get their independence and become Indonesia. So now the Ottoman Empire's influence is falling. They now no longer have influence over the majority of, the majority of the Indian Ocean because of the Indonesia getting their independence. In South America, the Dominion of Brazil breaks away as a puppet state and becomes unites with the original Brazil, and then Uruguay, Ecuador, and Venezuela all also break away. However, the Latin Union leaves the African Commonwealth just to make an alliance with them. Guyana and Colombia and Central America also join. And this is to stop the rise of Brazil for a second time. The alliance they make is called the Latin Union, and this is just to stop Brazil, as Brazil would probably take back all their old land if they could. Dominica then also joins it, and so does Ghana and the Republic of the Gambia. Namibia then joins the African Commonwealth. However, the Manila Treaty is broken up. And this is just because of political tensions between the members of it. And usually after that, Vietnam declares war on Thailand. However, Thailand quickly takes the Cambodian region and southern Vietnam. They also start moving to the Lao region. They take the capital. China then get involved. and took that. And the peace treaty is simple, it's just that. Then, the Dominion of India breaks away from the Ottoman Empire and becomes India. However, the Dominion of South Africa and the Ottoman Indian Company both stay loyal to the Ottoman Empire, as one of the company set up by the government, so it's basically the government that owns all of this. And then the Dominion of South Africa, they know that they won't, if they try to break away, they won't be able to, especially because it's valuable for the influence over East Africa. And then the Ottoman Empire annexes the Dominion of South Africa, expanding their mainland territory further into Africa. However, now they only have one puppet state, and that's just the land that the government owns and is setting up to trade throughout the Indian Ocean more efficiently than, let's say, India having to send their boats through the Suez Canal, which would exist. So would the Panama Canal, actually. To say, well, hold on. Yeah, they would exist. Florida annexes the United States of the Americas, well, what remains of it. And Brazil then goes to war with the Latin Union. The Latin Union, which, as in the nation, moves in and managed to do really well against them. Uruguay also does the same. So does Venezuela and Guyana, which they do take that occupied land from Venezuela, just so Venezuelan troops can move even further in. Ecuador then also moves in quite quickly. And Peru uses a method that I don't think in this timeline of Ultimate Future of the World Season 5 has not been used. That's it's only been used during World War II, and that is a blitzkrieg. Peru just quickly sends a lot of tanks in to Brazil through the South American rainforest, setting it on fire. And it completely splits Brazil into two. Uruguay then learns how to do this, and they do it just taking even more land. The other nations don't do that because they don't actually have many tanks. The Latin Union probably would only have some. Peru and Uruguay would probably have a lot, especially Uruguay. That's where the Ottoman Empire would probably send most of its troops and tanks. Uruguay then takes the capital, and Peru still moves down the coast, and then Brazil signs a peace treaty. So this is what the borders look like. Uruguay got most of the south, however the Latin Union also did get quite a bit of it. Peru actually didn't get a lot compared to what they actually occupied. However, they're just planning on just blitzkrieging Brazil even more. Because of course they are. Ecuador didn't actually get much land, however they didn't take much. Venezuela, they took maybe probably just doubled in size. And then Guyana took a lot of the coastline of the Atlantic, and that's for trade. Mostly trade with Britain, France, Greater Colombia, and the Ottoman Empire. So yeah, Brazil is even smaller than what they were at the start. Well, no, they're actually bigger. Do I change that? No, let's not change that. Brazil's being bullied enough in today's video. What other nations can I? What other big nations can I bully? Russia. Nah. There's not many big nations I can bully that aren't the main character during season 5 of this really long series. And that's the Ottoman Empire. They are the main characters. That's why they have survived for so long. What to do? I know. All these controlled regions of Prussia forced to unite into Prussia. And they release. But Sweden declares war on them and annexes them. They also annex Poland. Poland has it. I can't feel bad for Poland in this series. They keep coming back and going. Especially this video. They were back. Not even. I don't know how long they were back. But they haven't been back long. And they're already gone. However, I don't know. I'm kind of running out of ideas, if you might be able to tell. Thailand declares war on India. Sure. And they... Okay, so Thailand moves into India. Into the Bengal region of it. Using blitzkrieg techniques that they learnt from Peru. However, India has more tanks and more people. And they just completely take the Burma area and more. And sign a peace treaty, and they just get what they took. And then Thailand splits into two. So Thailand and Malaysia. I don't know. Yeah, let's go with Malaysia. Yeah. However, the British, they remember what they were during the start of season 5, a massive empire. So they want to they want to make a new empire. So they just make a bunch of landings in Malaysia, declare war on him, and blitzkrieg. I need to stop having these nations blitzkrieg. Anyways, they just win. And then they go to war with India. They can land in Sri Lanka and take it, and they take a lot of southern India. They end up also taking the capital. However, then they are stalemated. However, they have special forces that they just send in. They take a lot of I'm pretty sure this is what used to be Islamic India. It was the Islamic Republic of India. Yeah. My god, has this map changed a lot over this entire season. And season 4. I keep forgetting season 5 and season 4 same thing. Ultimate Empire's been main character of season 5, but they're in it in season 4. Anyways, the two members unite and they just carry on moving in. And they win, they annex all of India. However, they do turn it into one nation. And they also have Malaysia in this. And they basically just make one giant colony, which is very similar to the colony in India in the start of season 4. However, this is the British India. Now that is a massive empire already, just taking all of the Indian subcontinent and more. So now they think of where to take next. Now, they did once own South America, not South America, South Africa, and well, they want it again. So they just go, make a landing, ring the Boris Republic's doorbell, and just invade. They just enter without permission and just take their couch. That was a weird way of saying they just completely taken over. I really regret recording this video late at night. Actually, it's not that late, it's 6, half 6. What to call this? How about the British states? There. Control. Ireland joins Britain to form the United Kingdom of England, Scotland and Ireland. Now they probably don't have the biggest empire. I mean, they could if they wanted to. Just take Greater Columbia and Canada. But they don't. They actually buy Canada. They buy Canada and it becomes British Canada. And now they just own this. Now they own a lot of the old territory now. And they think of taking Guyana, but they don't want to. However, just to try to get the influence of Guyana, they just become an overseer of the Latin Union. And actually leave the Treaty of Europe to join the Ottoman Empire. Is Iberian Treaty, which they changed the name of it to the Ottoman Treaty. However, then they're forced to change the name of it to be the Ottoman. No, that's the wrong thing. The Ottoman British Treaty. However, that was the end of the video. Remember to like and subscribe. Go to haztv.co.uk for some Hazard TV merch. And until next time.